to episode 7
7
of Moon Diary Moments.
Yes, we are Moonstruck Melodies, and we're here bringing you our Moon Diary moments.
A little diary of the moon variety. And it's just a little way to kind of get our experience down on tape.
That's right.
Tape.
So we're going around as independent musicians, playing at different venues, and we just felt like we wanted to talk about it and, like you said, express ourselves, get those things out, and maybe, shed some insight on the
whole
experience for people trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, so our most recent triad of
That's 3, you guys.
gigs. We had a Thursday, Friday, Saturday gig, and this one was kind of a fun, little interesting gig situation. So the
Each
first
one was super different from the other one. So,
right.
yeah.
So the first one was Farmers Market in Boulder, which is really awesome. We've actually done this one before, and we've kind of somehow got on their list, and we've gone back for a couple
Somehow,
years.
I'm like emailing, like, when can we sign up, please?
Magically, we got on their list.
Magically.
And so we were playing there, and we usually love it, and it's such a great farmers market, and everyone there is so great, all the vendors and things like that.
Wait, did you say Thursday, Friday, Saturday? I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
No, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, it was a Thursday, Friday.
A Thursday farmer's market?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think those exist. Either way, it was a Wednesday or a Thursday, and so, when you think farmer's market, you think like Saturday morning and everyone's like up and early, but this was a Wednesday or Thursday farmer's market in the evening, so it's
like
kind of a different vibe.
O'clock or something like that.
Yeah, I think we played like 4 to 8 or something like that. It was a 4-hour ordeal.
But it was pouring rain.
Pouring rain. Cue B-roll of the rain. I mean, that was the most prominent part of the whole experience.
It was very much framed the experience, and it was raining so much that we got there and had our stuff kind of like almost prepped to go out to the tent, but we were like, let's ask somebody
let's see if this is even still happening,
because there's no way that we're
gonna they were plug in electrical things and like just pretend that that's okay.
And they showed us to a tent, and it was like, the tent,
like
and then a little bit inside the tent was the dry square.
And we were like, okay, like we can kind of work with this dry little area.
And so we kind of set all of our sound equipment up in the middle of this dry square, and we like covered our equipment that we invested, with, like our cheap equipment, like whatever, a couple speakers and a soundboard and cables. We covered them up with blankets and stuff like that so that wouldn't get ruined.
Blankets are not waterproof, but they're better than nothing in a pinch.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were under like a classic easy up that you see at farmers markets, and it was raining so much that I don't know if you've ever been under an easy up in the rain, but what happens is water collects in pools, and then every now and then it dumps,
overflows over the side and just shoots down like a jet stream. And
every time that happened, we were like, oh no, it was like all of our equipment about to be ruined, because again, we're only in this tiny little square of dryness, and it kept getting smaller
at
and
the end
smaller
of the gig,
and smaller.
There was no square.
It was just a little circle around my feet. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's probably a very fair assessment or a fair metaphor. But it felt like it was very, it was very intense. It was like kind of like crazy. Storming.
So obviously you can imagine like there weren't that many people there. It was totally storming.
And there were a few people, but it was definitely not a normal crowd for that, what we expected.
Yeah.
So it was kind of not as, validating, I guess, or rewarding in that way, but it was very much an experience. It was like, I will forever remember doing that because it was crazy. I mean...
Yeah, and I mean, there was definitely a camaraderie with the tent that was next to us. I think it was Gravity Brewing. I think that they might be out of Boulder. That makes sense, Boulder Farmers Market. And they were really nice. They were like totally hyping us up and cheering us on while we were playing music, and seemed really grateful. And like you said, there was a little bit of traffic, and there were more kids there. I felt like.
I think most people though were like just trying to get out from under the rain, like in
Yeah.
like some tents that were near the food area, and so I
Yeah.
think it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of, you could imagine, it was a farmer's market in the rain.
It was one of those building character moments again. Yeah.
I mean, if we didn't have all of our equipment, it would have been probably super awesome to run around in the rain, but we had a bunch of sound equipment, so it kind of made it a little stressful, but at the end of the day, it was fine, everything worked. And
yeah, to be honest, we did kind of let it get to us a little bit, the stress. We were just so worried that, I mean, you can imagine, like, our power cords were running through water, so we were just in a
let alone the
survival
safety
mode,
issue. I feel like that was
like,
probably
very
present.
concerning.
Like we were kind of like, and we felt like at what point do we have to
we have to take responsibility for our own safety. They're not going to come over and be like, hey guys, we don't think it's unsafe for you to play. And we're there like singing into the microphones. Everything is plugged in. It's all electrical equipment. But obviously we made it through. And it still was an experience. We still got paid for doing it, obviously, and it was
quite an experience.
It was still good.
Yeah, it was quite a very natural, not disaster experience, but like natural elements experience.
Yes.
We felt very small and just kind of like, okay,
humbled by the whole thing.
Very humbled. Yeah.
But everyone that was there was really nice and really, like I said, there was camaraderie. Like, we were all in it together. We were all experiencing the same elements, the same things. So, it was good.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah.
So, the next
day was in Colorado Springs, so just a little bit further south of Boulder.
Yeah, we played at this festival called Civility of the Book Fest, which it was the inaugural event, so the first of many to come.
Yeah, and definitely, first and foremost, we want to give a shout out to
Christina. She was amazing.
She's very professional, made us feel very welcome.
As soon as we walked in the door, we didn't even have to ask for someone that, usually we gotta go find our contact person. We walked in and she came over to us and was like, Moonstruck Melodies, we're so glad to have you. And
into this beautiful, huge space too. So it was kind of like
City Auditorium, if we didn't say that.
It was very overwhelming, or I mean, not overwhelming, but it was huge. It was massive, and it felt like you're like how you walk into a cathedral or something like that. It's a huge theater.
Another humbling feeling of going there and thinking.
You kind of catch your breath, and
we get to play here.
And she found us immediately and made us feel so welcome and warm, and
she's so familiar with all of the history within the building, and you could just tell that whole team had such a love for that building, and they so wanted to just get across that this is something worth appreciating and this is something worth preserving.
Yeah.
And so this team is right now trying to renovate City Auditorium.
Yeah, so they put on this festival that was like a book festival for
local authors
to come in, share their books and stories and network and things like that of that nature.
It was really cool. I've never heard of anything like that, so it was a really cool experience.
And she reached out to us, I think.
So.
Which was also very humbling. It felt like
we might have reached out a couple of years ago or something, but she, kind of found us again and was like, hey, I think that you guys would be perfect for this.
Yeah, and it was a place to celebrate stories, and
which is right up our alley.
It felt very up our alley, and so it was also a very new experience for us because we never played in an auditorium like that. So we felt very small on a very big stage and a very huge space to fill. And I don't know if anyone's ever been in that position, but it's like you say it and speak it or sing it, and then you hear it way that finally resonating in the back corner or whatever. And so it's very at first it was kind of even disorienting, and I was like, oh wow.
It was something that we needed to adjust to really quickly on the spot. There wasn't too much of a sound check. It was just kind of plug in and go.
Yeah. It was very quick, and but it was a very unique experience, and it was so humbling. Yeah, I mean, it's just a very great word for it because it it reminded us of how small we were in the grand scheme of like the story that everyone else is living, and like all the causes that everyone else is having, and all the flags that people are kind of staking in the ground. It just made us feel like, oh yeah, like, we don't who are we kind of thing, like we're just happy to be here and honored to be here, that we would even be included, and
right,
and like
got us out of our heads a little bit and just into our bodies, into that moment. And it was a really, really good experience, and we were, it was over so fast, we felt like.
Sure.
I think that we played, I don't know, like half an hour?
Yeah, I think maybe around there. Yeah, I mean, we only
Something
played
like
a few songs. Yeah.
And so it was over so fast, and as soon as it was done, we were like, we want to do it again. Like,
Yeah.
we want to play here again, play another auditorium again, because it was a totally different experience than going in the corner of a bar and setting up with no stage, no sound equipment in the house. And
it was a far cry from that. It was like the opposite spectrum. But ironically, I mean, once we got off of the stage and things like that, Christina was like, hey, we have this like, after party event or whatever for all of the authors and the people who were helped put it on and stuff like that. So it's over here at this location. Would you want to play for that?
Yeah, I think they had a band cancel. They had someone that was supposed to play at the after party. Yeah. And this is at The Well in Colorado Springs, which is just down the street from the auditorium.
Which is really awesome. We'll tell you about that.
We'll get there,
But yeah.
But so they canceled, and she asked us that night when we played at the Book Fest, would you guys be interested in playing at The Well? And so we said, absolutely, that sounds like so much fun. So feel free, go ahead, talk about The Well.
Oh, so yeah, the next day, The Well. So it is imagine a communal space with tables, and along the walls, or in a central bar, I guess, right? So there's like a table in a bar area, and then along the far wall is a bunch of stalls of different foods from around the world.
Different cultural foods. It's actually really cool what they're doing.
It was amazing. I mean,
we've lived in Colorado Springs, and we just felt like, oh, this is exactly what was missing, this kind of a vibe for Colorado Springs. I'm going to butcher the types of food that were there. Do you remember?
No, I was definitely not going to try, because it was we'll just say, I mean, it was from all corners of the world, right? And it was world food, from anything like familiar stuff from like Greek food or whatever to like South African food or I don't know, that might be incorrect.
No, I think it was.
It was, and like, some Japanese food or something like that. So it was stuff that would be,
and then you could still get like
array.
a burger if you wanted a burger or whatever.
Right, some familiar salad even. It was like they were very much trying to please a cast a wide net.
Yeah, and so you have these stalls, right, and you go and get your food, and it's very much like we watch a lot of like travel food shows, and it seems like it's very much like other countries where you can go and like it's like street food, kind of a food court style, but then everyone comes to the communal area to eat.
Right.
So you all come together.
Kind of felt like a food court, but like a street food vendor food court, almost like you stepped into this other world. And it
was very cool. And so that's where we played music. This communal area where everyone's eating. Yeah. That's where we were set up to play.
And it was great. We very much enjoyed it. I mean, it was a beautiful spot, so it's hard to not enjoy that. I mean, again, most people were. This was that corner of the bar setting where it's like most people were eating and drinking and having their own kind of good time. So we were, kind of a little bit more in the pocket, but I mean, it was still, the same gratifying kind of thing where we're seeing people come and go. So it was a good experience. We connected with the director of operations there, and she asked us back, just on her own accord. Mm-hmm. So that felt really good. We were like, okay, we did a good job. Of course, one of the check marks. That's always what you want to hear. Yeah. And we got paid for that one too, so it was a full trip of like picking up an extra gig or picking up another gig for the next day is always like
as a fun
not like
surprise.
A dream, but like it's like
it's a little bonus.
It's ideal, right? Of like from every gig, more gigs come, type thing, and it's so it was ideal for sure. So it was a really good 3 days in a row. We only planned for 2 of the days. Yeah. But yeah. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was a fun little trip. Very full weekend though. It was very tiring when we got back.
Of course, yeah.
But we at least had a day. I thought it was a Friday. I thought it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
We can figure that out
I'll have to
later.
check the calendar.
I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. But anyways,
So our next,
so we did that.
pretty much, next is going to California. We're so excited. We have 8 shows in California.
We've got quite the lineup
We're excited
scheduled.
to bring that to you. So you probably won't be seeing this in real time, but
Definitely will
hopefully
not
we'll
be.
see you guys in San Diego if you knew about it well before this. And yeah, we'll see you guys
Great.
later.
And we'll see you
thank
for episode 8.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Seeds that burst through the dirt you thought was meant to hold you down. That for some is a grave, but for us